Hey there everybody, Brian here from Fitzpatrick's. So in this video I want to show you the differences between these two cars here. This is a model of i20 that came out from 2021 up as far as 2023, and this model then is going to be the model that supersedes it into 2024, so it's a midlife refresh. So what we'll do in the video, we'll just have a look at the differences between the two cars. Most of it is actually visual aesthetics on the outside. If you want to know more, like say for example you have the previous model of i20 and you want to know more about the differences between these cars and the previous model, I have this video here, and if you just search for that video, just use my surname and i20 and you'll find it, and that'll run through basically the differences from this model of i20 to the previous one. But in this model, or sorry, in this video, I'll run through the features that are on this car regardless anyway, so at least you'll have a good idea of what it's all about by the end of the video. Anyway, let's have a look at the differences. Okay, so visually on the outside, the differences are the body shape is the exact same. Sorry, the body shape in terms of the bonnets and the wings and all that stuff, none of that stuff has changed. It's really more about the shape. That sign is so annoying. It's after falling down. Sorry, that looks really unprofessional. We need to get that sorted. This is our backyard. It's not the cleanest, I'm not going to lie to you. It's functional and it does a job for us for the moment. So along here in the previous model, you had a long black matte coloured splitter. And just take note of the shape that you'll see on the grille. These were the headlights in through here, and then these were daytime running lights with little vents in through here on either side. So if we move over, we'll try and get a shot kind of halfway on both, so that might be a bit easier. So if you look along here, the daytime running light has become more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual LEDs as opposed to this triangular section here. We saw the bigger slats in the grille here, whereas now they've become smaller. And if you look at that, there was kind of a sort of angle towards the center, whereas this one over here is much more angular, kind of almost forming a downward V sign, which is a little bit more aggressive looking. We looked at the splitter that was along the front along here, which had an open section here and then smaller ones here. This one, same idea, quite similar, except for it has a lower splitter along the front again. Why would you do that? It does make the car a little bit lower to the ground and more aggressive looking. So that, for me, that little splitter, and you'll see a lot of people sometimes when they modify their cars, they put little splitters underneath to make them a bit more aggressive looking. Looking at the front end of those cars, that is a more aggressive look to the vehicle. The other thing that mightn't be as obvious straight away then, the badge in here is in the grille, whereas this is, and again, that was a lot of people in the modified cars, they would take the grille off or the badge off the front to make it more aggressive. This has gone with the, so this is like the older style, more prominent 3D, whereas this is the flatter Hyundai badge. So again, the front end of the car, I think, in my opinion, just looks a bit sportier on the 2024 model, and I think that's the idea that they were going for. Round on the rear of the car then, taillights are identical, boot lid is identical, but you'll see on this one here, it's got some bumper garnish down low, whereas this one has a plainer bumper. So looking at that one close, there's three little oh god, I can't think what they're called. It's those little lines basically. Anyway, they're just a design feature on the rear of the car. It's more of a kind of a diffuser look, whereas this one here, while it has them, they're more in a kind of brushed aluminium trim. So looking at that there again, okay, this one's got a number plate on it which kind of catches your eye a bit, but ignoring that, down low on the bumper, it's a different shape along the bottom compared to that. Also look where the fog light and the reverse light is. In this one, however, it's got more of a shape in here, so this bumper's plain in here, whereas this one's got more of a vented area here with the reflector, and in this case a fog light, and then on the left hand side obviously the reverse light over there as well. Okay, so just looking at the alloy wheel style, they're not terribly dissimilar, but it is different on the 2024 model. So if you look down along here, this one had a black center with a diamond cut brushed aluminium section on the outside there, a 16-inch wheel on this deluxe. This one tends to have more silver and diamond coating, so there's more of a grey in the centre, but there's more diamond coating on the outside. So at a glance, to me, that kind of makes the wheel look a little bit bigger than the previous model, but they are the same size, both of them being 16-inch wheels. The side profile of the car then after that is identical, and again I'm going to run through other features that's on these cars in general anyway afterwards. But one other thing I have noticed is on the inside. So along here, just looking at the door card, okay, the i20 had a kind of a two-tone dash with grey along the bottom, like a dark black on top and light grey here, light grey there, light grey there. This one has black, okay, nothing seriously significant, but the Bayon was a similar car and it actually had a black dash, and a lot of people liked the black dash. It seems to be a bit more sporty, but I've purposely left this dirty on purpose. People sometimes, when they just touch off the inside of the car with, you know, their foot or whatever it is, this is much harder to keep clean. Not impossible, it just takes a wipe, but it probably is better that on the new model it looks to be a dark version because it's easier to keep clean overall. The other thing then as well is just take note of the material on the seat. So stitching along here, which is light, and then you have these lines along through here, just bear that in mind. If you look at this one over here, then it has a dark stitching instead, and then it has a design down through the centre along here. And again, like what we said, two-tone, this will vary in different countries, but this is what we got in Ireland. This is a light grey centre console along through here, whereas this one had a dark grey centre console. So hopefully now you got a better idea of the difference between 2021 up as far as 2023, and then from 2024 onwards. For the next part of the video, I'm just going to run through the levels of infotainment that are on the cars, and also things like how they drive. Actually, I think it's important to mention one other thing as well. This is a really cool one actually. This is the new model in what's called Mangrove Green. Anyway, the boot is really big in them. It's actually pretty much class leading. So if you say look at a Toyota Yaris or something like a Volkswagen Polo, Yaris boot's about 286 litres, Ford Fiesta boot is about 311 litres, Polo is about, in fairness, 351. These are 352 litres, so they're actually quite a big boot. Pretty much one of the biggest boots in the class, and there's also a spare wheel as well. And why I decided to show you that in a really dark part of the showroom. No, so let's have a look in the outside, and we'll have a quick look in the back as well, just to see what it's like for legroom and stuff. So that is the boot. This shelf's pretty handy. You can leave it down like that, especially for people with dogs and things like that, or you can just pull it up and hook it into place then, and it just acts like a normal parcel shelf. Anyway, in terms of the rear, so like you're saying, and I'm not sure I might have clarified this properly, the new model is the one with the darker plastics. So in through here you have 3 head restraints, 3 3-point safety belts. There's also a USB connector in through there. You have the darker material with the stripe along through there. Isofix here, Isofix over here. If you were to sit as a 6 foot person, behind a 6 foot person, this is the headroom you'd have, and this is the legroom you'd have. So 4 adults to be comfortable, and 5 adults in any car this size is going to be a bit of a squeeze, but it's still very doable. Up front over here at night time, there's lovely ambient lighting in here in the pockets. Hard to see during the day, but it's really nice at night. And actually down around the dash in there as well, so it's really, really bright actually. It's lovely. Height adjustable seat. Obviously the steering wheel goes up and down and in and out. Electrics for windows front and rear. Electric folding mirrors as well. Over here then you have things like auto stop start, which, you know, stops the engine running and when you're stopped at traffic lights and things like that. Tire pressure reset. Wiper controls over here, light controls over here, and they're auto lights. So in other words, when you're in the car, they'll come on at nighttime by themselves, but they'll also dip when they meet traffic. Over here is cruise control. Over here is controls for radio or Bluetooth. I love the heating controls in these. Speed up, slow down, warm, cold, where do I want the air to blow, air conditioning, wireless charging, USB-A and USB-C for faster charging. That's new. Actually, that was the USB-C was not on the older model, so that's also something additional. I like the gearbox. We'll go for a drive in a minute. Big reverse camera with parking sensors as well. And in here, then you're going to have things like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay if you want to use things like Google Maps and stuff like that. Also has the SOS function. A lot of people never really talk about that. If you have a pretty bad accident and maybe you're unresponsive, there is a sensor in the car. It'll sense that and it'll make a call to a European call centre who will try and alert people to the difficult situation that you've encountered. Or you can press it yourself if you're in big trouble. Anyway, let's go for a drive. One thing actually I really like on them as well is you can change the cluster. So you can, all I'm doing is manipulating up and down through here. So I can manipulate how dark, so it's got a little bit darker. You can see the ambient lighting in through here. This is a 23 model, so it has the lighter coloured doors, but you can see the ambient lighting here. You can see the ambient lighting here. It's lovely at night time. If I go down into cluster, and then I can go down into theme, and then I can change how the clocks look. So I think that's really neat. I like driving these cars. For me personally, I love driving cars this size anyway. I always have, and I think I always will. The reason is they just feel nimble and fun and sporty. So people are going to buy a car like this because, you know, it looks nice, it's got lots of equipment, there's a good level of safety, and there's a long warranty. But I really like driving cars this size. They just feel like, so say for example along here, I want to do like a quick U-turn. You know, not that you can't do it in a bigger car just as quick, but it's so much easier in a car this size. but I just like that there's more of a kind of driver involvement in a car like this as well. So like we're saying, big reverse camera, good visibility in and out of the car, forwards and backwards and left and right. But I just find cars like this size, responsive, fun. The gearbox is lovely in these cars. The chassis, I have a long drive every day. The chassis on a back road is really nice on one of these. It makes you feel confident. I really enjoy driving these types of cars. Anyway, don't take my word for it. Come try one yourself, but I think you'll like it. Actually, I forgot saying that while I was driving. The engine on this car then is a 1.2, 84 brake horsepower unit. Anyway, that's just a quick overview of the difference between 2023 and 2024. And like you're saying, I have the other video if you want to look at the differences from, say, the 2017-18 model up as far as this kind of particular shape. Anyway, if there is any information you want on these cars, 086 843 1945, call, text, WhatsApp. I'll be happy to go through information. Or if you're watching on YouTube and there's something you want to know, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer. So hopefully you found the video useful. Brian's my name, Fitzpatrick's Garage, Kildare Town. Thanks for taking time to watch.